Hey everybody, live now. How's it going? Oh, here, let me set up all so I can see all the comments and everything. Oh, geez, a lot of comments. So, yeah, I was just busy. I was, this morning, I got up, and I put on a question. I was like, I don't know if I was going to do a live stream today because it is being Super Bowl Sunday. I know a lot of people that watch these live streams are huge football fans, especially in the States. So I threw up this right here. I said, should we do a live stream today, 2100 Zulu, or postpone to the Super Bowl? And so there's a high percentage. There's a high percentage of people, around 28%, that are watching the Super Bowl. So we should probably say hello to those people. But there's a high percent, 48% of people said that what is the Super Bowl, which is kind of, everyone knows what the Super Bowl is. But here, let me get rid of that. It is, yeah, so there you go. So that's what I thought I'd do a live stream and see you guys all there. Johnny Duck, Super Bowl. So there's going to be a lot of people watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, so having fun. So you guys, how's everything going? It was a pretty busy week, pretty slow video week, only the one video, but the video was quite popular. The one thing I want to talk about, folks, is the amount of questions that one video made. Let me just get my headset on. I don't know why. I don't know. I can always hear and feel better with the headsets on. PlaneSavers over Super Bowl any day. Well, it's not true for everybody, but it is true. Hello, Elvis King. How's it going? Benoit, very controversial, but he says football's for kids, rugby rules, but I can see that there's probably a lot of football fans. So how's it going? Texas Flyer, what up, brother? Fly Dad, there we go. Hello, watching Ice Pilots now. Good old stuff. We got a special guest here coming in. Yeah, I think you've known him from Ice Pilots days. Oh, here he comes. Oh, not yet. The one thing, look what I noticed. Look, we got the Kansas City Roastery here. So if you don't know, the Kansas City is playing the Super Bowl. That Roastery behind the two DTD models. So I guess we're cheering for Kansas City. I don't know. Look who's here coming in. Oh, what? I get in the 1 second. So one thing is, I just realized I can't even really watch the Super Bowl if I wanted to because I don't even have cable. And I haven't had cable for the longest time. So sometimes we'd go to a sports bar or go to a friend's house and watch the Super Bowl. I really enjoyed Super Bowl day because of the spectacle. Of course, like the commercials. But, it's the one day a year where I could become like a football fan and watch football. And it's going back. It reminds me, I found this old picture in college. I went to Red Deer College. And my buddy Cody McKay, and I were so excited one Super Bowl. I think it was Super Bowl 06 or 07. I think it's when the Chicago Bears were in the Super Bowl. Anyway, we spent all day here. There he is. Oh, where is he here? We spent all day getting ready, getting everything going. There we go. You can see a lamp made out of beer cans. That is Mountain Crest beer and Budweiser, and my friend Cody. So what does that have to do with Ice Pilots or PlaneSavers? I always do segues. So Cody here, there's Cody again. Was in an episode of PlaneSavers, and unless you're a super diehard, you probably wouldn't notice. But he was in the episode, the Iron Maiden episode. Cody and I have been going to Iron Maiden concerts for a long time. Cody's one of the good buddies of mine. So he got into the Iron Maiden concert. Let's play right now and see if you can spot where Cody is.
There's no oil on the outside of it. What did you do?
As a thank you, Bruce got us the VIP tickets inside the NHL Players Bench. This was awesome. Huge. Again, 2 concerts in a row. There he is. There's Cody right there. See? And my Uncle Matt, of course, with the vintage Buffalo Airways hat. So there, Cody. My very good Super Bowl memory of Cody. Again, so there. He probably's not watching, so there you go. So let's head back into here. There we are. So yeah, there's the whole Super Bowl thing. But here in time is a guest. Look at it. My father. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Hope you liked his appearance. Very quick. Oh, he's got a paper towel and the coffee. So the one big question. Oh, Johnny Duck, thank you for the super chat. There you go, supercar. There we go. There we go. So one thing I want to show you guys, the biggest question. So on the last episode, I spent a lot of time with the animation of William and the generator going in the C46. Probably spent a lot more time than I needed to on that. So the one thing I wanted to bring up today was, well, the fact that I got two screens. I mentioned that in the episode. So my dad's here. The biggest question I got from the last episode, if you remember this segment here, I'll play the segment right now. Well, really, I broke it down to basically two categories and an honorable mention. So for the DC-3, which is a mid-size combi aircraft, you can get the Dash 8-100 or the ATR-42. For a large cargo door, which the C-46 falls under, you can get a Dash 8-300. You can get an ATR-72, and of course you can go big and get a 737-200. With an honorable mention, I just want to mention that Cessna is making the Sky Courier. It's a new airplane. It hasn't been released yet. Large cargo door and kind of a mid-size. Okay, so I'm going to pause it there, folks. Hopefully, yeah, I guess you guys can hear me. So I brought this graphic up here, which, as you know, I took everything and I put the Buffalo logos on each one. You can see the Dash 8-100, the ATR-42. These are short strip, small door, but they can do combis. Oh, Stella's here too. And then we got the LCD, the large cargo door, which is a Dash 8-300, the ATR-72, and the Boeing 737-200. Of course, these pictures don't show the LCD of the large cargo door. And the dog's barking. And then, of course, the honorable mention, the Sky Courier. Oh, Stella, you want to grab a seat? Here.
I'm late, so there's a pretty good accident out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So there we go, folks. So that's the one thing. So the biggest thing about this graphic that I brought in was there we go. So the one thing I brought in from this graphic was, there we go. Can't move the camera slightly left. There we go. So, and Stella's here too. Hello, Stella. You guys want to move closer? Because they won't be able to hear you if you talk. Right. Alright. So, there we go. So, yeah, and Justin's asking about the B-17. That's a little bit inside joke because I said that there is a B-17, doesn't have a cargo door. Turns out it does have a cargo door, and I made a special edition t-shirt. So check out the Facebook group if you want that. So, the one question I got more than anything was the Basler. The Basler, I didn't mention it because we actually lease the Basler all the time. It's actually coming in, when is March?
March 15th, yeah.
So we're going to have a Basler here from March to September. So we've done that. This is going to be our third or fourth year?
Fourth year.
Our fourth year. So there we go. So we've actually had a Basler in the fleet for technically 4 years now.
Well, this is our fourth year, right?
Yeah. So it's, I haven't mentioned that. But I think it, I guess I showed a little bit last season, but maybe not.
No, you showed the. I don't remember registration.
You probably have to speak up. They won't be able to hear you.
You did.
All right.
You did. I'm pretty sure you did.
So, there we go. Yeah, so there we go. So the Basler is that, which was number one question I got. The second question I got with aircraft types being available is a long list of Russian aircraft. And there actually hasn't been any Russian aircraft certified in Canada, probably for, do you remember any Russian aircraft?
No, there's a few comes through, but none are really certified to work here.
Yeah, so some could get like a Levians or whatever, but not a Canadian registered Russian aircraft.
No,
was there any helicopters back in the day?
Not in Canada, no. They're different places, but we don't have any here in Canada yet. But we can be Russian. You know, we could rush right into it right now if we get a chance.
Oh, and then Sarah, thank you for the super chat. What about the short 360? I don't know what a short 360 is. Yeah, we got this one, which was a question that I learned later, is what about the BA-146? And I didn't know this, but the BA-146-300 has a cargo door which TNT uses out of Europe. and it takes the 108 by 88 cookie sheets, the very same as the Electra. So one thing I didn't add to that list, which I should have, or is I learned from you guys, is the BA-146 because it is so popular in Europe. Now, all the BA-146s here in Canada are either firefighters or straight passenger airplanes. So I don't think there's, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any cargo 146s in Canada. So that's kind of it. The other aircraft is the Fokker 50, which is a very, very capable airplane, not certified in Canada. So if you look at not being certified in Canada, you look at, take the value of the airplane, say it's $5 million. Then it'll take you about $5 million to get it certified in Canada. So you have to basically pay double for the price of the airplane. Now that being said, any airplane you buy after it would be certified as well. But unfortunately, if you do it, it's available to everybody too. So if you spend $5 million to get the aircraft certified, all your competitors can get it too. So it's kind of a loss, kind of weird kind of situation. So it's always better to get an aircraft that is already certified in Canada, ready to go. And that really just comes down to 737-200, ATR 72, and then the Dash 8-300 large cargo door. But the Dash 8-300 large cargo door isn't available yet. Area Inuit has been working, I think, the past 4 or 5 years trying to get it ready and certified through Rockwell Collins in Winnipeg. So that's being said. There we go. Is that enough info to answer some questions?
I don't have any questions. No, go ahead there, Sean.
PC-12. PC-12's good, but it is a little on the smaller side. Everett's used PC-12s.
Oh, yeah.
But they're actually looking, and they're the ones that told us about what I said about the honorable mention, which is the Sky Courier. They're looking at getting the Sky Courier. So, there we go. 72. Oh, here, let me get these comments a little bit bigger. 737-200. Is that market difficult to get into? It's this. No. Actually, it's probably fairly easy. Who's running 200s? You got Nolanor, Chrono,
and
Air Inuit. Air Inuit and Air Canada or Canadian North. So there's 4 companies that I know of. There might be one more hidden that are running 200 freighters. So I showed my father this earlier. I was going to actually put it on the episode. There is a 737-300 for sale in Europe, ready to go. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Full check, full everything. How much was it?
$4.5 million.
$4.5 million, which seems like a lot. But if you look at a Basler, which is at about $7.5 million right now, you can get for essentially half price a 737-300 cargo airplane ready to go. But unfortunately, the 300s cannot land on gravel. As you can look, the 200s got the very small engines, and they have the little pneumatic system that blows all the debris away from the engines. The 300 has the bigger high bypass engines, which are not gravel certified. So even though the 200 is I don't think there's any 100s fine. So it is the oldest 737 on the market operating right now. It is the only one that can land on gravel. And that's where the BA-146 comes in. It can land on gravel because those engines, even though there's 4, are very high up there. Happy Super Bowl Sunday from Chicago. I guess your groundhogs are frozen stiff. Yeah. Do you ever see any groundhogs up here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to look, though. You got to know where to look for a groundhog. You want to see a groundhog, yeah, I'll show you where to find them. But we get our sun's coming out now anyway, so we're getting a longer, nicer day. And, we're getting ready for Valentine's Day, so it's got to be nice.
There's another thing, too. Another aircraft that people have been talking about is the Buffalo, de Havilland Buffalo. Now, Arctic Sun West, which was a company that was bought up by Summit Airlines up here, had 2 Buffaloes. And they're very good airplanes, very like a short takeoff and landing stall aircraft. A little skinny on the cargo area, putting pallets side by side and that kind of stuff. But very good airplane. Very expensive with the props, eh?
Props and engines, unless they put Pratt & Whitney's on them, re-engine them again and recertify them. It's a makeover airplane, but it would be good if somebody would put BT6s on.
So Viking, they for the search and rescue contract.
Yeah.
So that could be an airplane, but again, it's a very good airplane, but when it comes to moving a lot of freight, the Buffalo is very good at weird places, going short strips and that kind of stuff. Very, there's a lot of people that are huge fans of that airplane. So the two that were here, I think they're in Africa right now.
Yeah, they're over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So good airplane, just there's none available. They're just not available. Oh, super chat. The Carpenter Dad, update on the Fox Moth from your dad. So, Dad, what's an update on the Fox Moth?
The update in the Fox Moth, we just wait we've ordered all the wood that we need for the repair. We've enlisted a fellow who's going to give us a hand. He's a wood specialist in aircraft wood. And so when we get that together, and of course, Benji's over there studying up all the diagrams and all the drawings for it. And it's coming along fairly good. I turned it upside down to make sure all the mouse turds fell out of it before I climbed in it. But other than that, it's coming along pretty nice.
Miles High saying Twin Otter, too small, good for passengers, I guess. We actually used the Twin Otter. I subcontracted Twin Otter for a job, and I used it quite a bit. I think we did close to 16, 17 Twin Otter trips. So yeah, Twin Otter's a great airplane. Very short haul, though. It's a very short haul aircraft. Very good for airstrips that are not prepared because of the ability of the airplane. But again, when you're starting to get into long distances, Twin Otter price per pound starts diminishing versus larger aircraft. Yeah, so David Jones saying, so C-46 still stacks up. So the one thing I did in that episode, and I think only one person mentioned it, is I showed all the diagrams of how far the C-46 could go with fuel and all that stuff. And if you look very closely, the scope of fuel, even if you got fuel at a Norman Wells and a Nuvik, Holman Island, which Willie went to, was very far away. And how did we do that? And the answer was, I thought more people would pick up on that, but the answer is because the engine only weighed 3,400 pounds and the C-46 can take up to 14,000 pounds, instead of just going empty, we actually put drum fuel. So we carried our own fuel, not only in the wings, which were full, but actually drums of fuel with the airplane to get up there. So once we got up there, we used the drum fuel, which was part of the cargo, to put it back in the wings, which extended the range of the aircraft. But that comes at a huge sacrifice of weight that the customer can use. But if you have a very big item and it needs to go a long distance and it's not that heavy, you can actually tank your own fuel, which was what we did. So that's how we got it. And if you watch the one Ice Pilots episode where Scott Blue takes the C-46 to Eureka, which was even higher up there, that's what we did. I think we actually did stash some fuel, which is another thing. Dad, caching fuel places, very popular with helicopters, not that popular with airplanes. What's the negative things about caching fuel?
Well, we used to cache a lot of fuel. Any airplane going north, with any space left on board, going north empty to pick up a camp or going north to pick something up, we always put fuel out. So when we're working in the area, we could use this fuel. And everybody had their own fuel caches. Every company had their fuel caches. But the downside of it was, pretty soon in the last few years, they put a best before date on fuel. Because the lead, they gave it a 2-year life, which wasn't good. But then they dropped that to 1 year. So if you put out fuel and don't use it within a year, environmentally you got to bring it back home. And now they're talking about giving the life of fuel 6 months. So though it was very popular back in the, just a few years ago, since the airplane started, till a few years ago, but now. We can't put fuel out because we don't know if we're going to use it or not. But we could, on certain jobs like this one we did last week. Yes, we tank our own fuel in drums. But in the helicopter world, yes, all fuel was cached for the job sites because that's the way it was. But unless we can find fuel because they took the lead out of fuel, the fuel just goes to vinegar in 6 months. Like put even your car gas today. If you don't drive the car over a season, and if you don't put stabilizer in the fuel, you don't have any fuel. You just got vinegar in your airplane.
So that's a good point. So if you look at it, there's so many places that you can theoretically go with airplanes in the year. So if you cache the fuel, which everything right now is based on fuel price. So if you cache the fuel, which means you have to fly the fuel up there, so essentially doubling the cost because you're going to have to pay an airplane to go up there. You can maybe take some up here and there on customer charters that are not full, but then you have to store it. You have to have security because if one drum gets stolen, it just all that stuff compounds the price. So caching fuel is good in a helicopter because you can put that anywhere. You can hide it.
Yeah.
Places you're not going to go. But with airplanes, you're going to have to cache the fuel at airports. So if you cache the fuel and not use it, like Joe was saying, 6 months later it's garbage. Then you're liable to bring it out. So caching fuel is a terrible, terrible thing unless there's a big contract that you can do it. But just the sheer scope of putting fuel everywhere is not economically practical because even just to get it there for the cost and then theft, your price per liter is through the roof. So there we go. Convair, another question. Convair 580, they're a little bit on their way out.
Well, they're a very good airplane. The only thing is our runways don't really take their length, and their props are very close to the ground for picking up stones on our gravel runways.
Expensive props too, eh?
Yeah, 75,000 a piece if you put her through the stones. The other thing about the Convair is it's not really fuel efficient for the weight it's taken, but we've always had our eye on them. I always liked the Convair, but it does really suit what we do.
And then the Hawker 748s, they're on their way out because of the Dart engines.
Yeah, because again, the engines on that airplane, in England they re-engine them, call them ATP, an aircraft turbine powered, but they won't really fit our runway lengths around here. See, in the Northwest Territories, which a third of Canada, which we operate in, we only have 6 airports that are paved. So the other 42 airports that we go to or could go to are gravel. So we ought to always look at what we can do for gravel strips. That limits what kind of airplane we can use.
Good question here from John. Here in Alaska, there are stashes for Super Cubs everywhere. What's the biggest difference between a Super Cub and a C-46? Just how thirsty it is. You know, a drum of fuel here and there for a Super Cub is amazing. A drum of fuel here and there for a C-46 is absolutely nothing.
It's well, the Super Cub is probably running on 5 to 6 gallons an hour, and 46 is probably running 100, and American gallons would be 150 gallons an hour.
So yeah, you're looking at an armada of Super Cubs. But good question, or a good statement. Yes, in Alaska is a little bit more populated and a lot, I would say, a little bit better infrastructure than we are here in Canada.
Yeah.
And your guys' general aviation is amazing in Alaska, like crazy amazing. Here in the Northwest Territories, general aviation barely exists.
Yeah, in Alaska, airplanes are a necessity, not a luxury. And where we operate, yes, airplanes are a necessity, but we don't have the support for them that the Alaskans did. The Alaskans always been ahead of us in their aviation world.
C-46 exhaust, very quickly, yes, we can actually buy brand new C-46 exhaust, Acorn Welding in Edmonton.
Now we can, because we've re-engineered it and rebuilt it, and a company will build us new exhaust pipes.
So I think that was referenced maybe some Ice Pelts episodes where the exhaust was fairly rare. That's pretty much solved now. So that's using new technology. And
Lots of money.
Well, it is. But what would you think? Would you rather buy a C-46 exhaust or Electroprop?
Well, the C-46 exhaust, of course, it costs lots to remanufacture and put it on, but it sure cuts down the labor, because if you've got old exhaust pipes, you're working on the airplane every day.
Mark, Mikey, did I hear that years ago your dad owned a Bell 47? If so, what model did he have?
You had a couple of Bell 47s back at it. Actually, the one, my first one is now at a company called Chinook Helicopters in Abbotsford. I seen it there last summer. KNC was the registration of it, and they're using it back for training. We bought it off Colonel Stringer there, which was the owner of Vancouver Island Helicopters. I think I probably bought it in 1970 or 71 was the first one. No, a Bell 47 is a very nice helicopter, very good.
I've seen this question a few times. Can Joe fly helicopters? If so, what?
No, Joe cannot fly helicopters. I can just run around and look at them.
Another one I always get is, please, Joe, write your life story. When is the story of Buffalo Joe coming out in novel form, and what would you title it? Christmas 2020?
No, the life of an ex-altar boy.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't think a story has to be written or told. I think you did it very well, Mikey, in Ice Pilots. You know, you put all my sins on everybody's.
No, but they want the past. The one thing that was difficult about Ice Pilots, from people that had a lot of experience at Buffalo Airways, was they always looked back and said there were so many good stories that happened from 2010-ish to 1970 when Buffalo started. So there's a lot of stories, and Ice Pilots was so concerned on what was happening now, and that's why the Rampies took center stages, because they were doing what was happening now. A captain that had lots of experience just showed up, jumped on the airplane, did the trip. So it wasn't that exciting. So Ice Pilots was very focused on now. The question people are asking is they want to know the history. They want to know the story. And history and story in today's day and age doesn't really work that well on television because it's really just people talking. People want to know the story in a book. So stuff that happened, like anything newer than 90 is too new. People want to know old school stuff.
Right.
So, Ghost Rider. Yeah, we can get a Ghost Rider in. They can just make it all up.
Yeah, well, the trouble is with writing a story like that, what fear I have is all the books I've written on autobiographies or whatever, and I usually just read them to get time and distance, and because they become very self-centered, very self-serving, and I'd like, if a Ghost Rider was ever to write a story, you'd have to involve all the people that were involved at the time, just not one person, because one person cannot do it without his without the people that surround it. So those are the people that have to be in the book.
Yeah.
And that would prevent me from doing a story, because I don't know if anybody, maybe Larry Milbury could do it, but to bring everybody into the books, I hate the book to show up. Look at me, book.
Mm-hmm.
That would scare me off. But if somebody could bring everybody into it, because everybody had a story and everybody was there and everybody did part of it and everybody did, and there's some interesting, nice, good things happened. I mean, there's some great stories out there, and some are almost unbelievable. But I was there. I seen they actually really happened. But and of course, there's some stories you wouldn't tell. But the most ones you tell involve a lot of people. So those people all have to be brought into the story.
For sure. So there's some unbelievable stories you want to, I guess, because we kind of stay away from crashes on PlaneSavers. But remember that story about the helicopter rescue?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell that? That's an interesting story. That really doesn't fit in anywhere.
We don't have enough time, Mikey. You got a 30-minute window here. You want me here till supper time? I mean, this story never ends.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, maybe...
and how many people were involved in that?
That's quite a bit.
That's the whole helicopter industry. So, no, I couldn't... yeah, it's an interesting story, but, a lot of people I don't tell that story to because they wouldn't believe me. They think I'm bullshitting.
Yeah. Here's a random question. Does Joe know Johnny May?
Johnny May?
Yeah.
I certainly know who he is. I've seen his airplane. I've seen him fly. I don't personally know him. I totally respect what he does with the children at Christmas time and become Santa Claus and throw all the candies and presents out of his beaver. And no, I know who.
That's the guy up? We watched the movie.
Yeah,
with the Transport Canada. There's actually a really good little cartoon documentary we watched. Hey, Stella, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's Johnny May. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's from Chopper Kyle, the world famous Chopper Kyle. Thank you, Chopper, the animated adventures Chopper Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Stella,
Yeah.
you've been kind of just sitting there in the corner.
Here, I'll trade you places.
No, I'm good. I'm sitting perfect in the corner.
So how's everything going from Stella's end?
Good. Can't complain. It's great over here.
So what's happening?
Not much, actually.
No?
You tell me.
No? You just kind of watching?
Just kind of hanging out.
Right on. So, guys, hope you like the live chat. Throw in some Buffalo Joe questions. You know, it's very rare for him to come sit down. Here's a random question. Did Bob Gogash
Bogash.
get a DC-4 from you for the Seattle Museum? Do you know anything about DC-4s going to Seattle?
No, but we'll ride on it right now. Bogash, eh? I know a Bogash, I know a DC-4, and I know Seattle, but it never ever came together like that.
We got Carl, hi from an old Austin Airways mechanic.
Oh yeah, Austin Airways, yeah, down there in the big Hudson Bay there.
Didn't they run Norseman?
Oh yeah, they had lots of Norsemen, Canso, lots of DC-3s, and they're a big bush operator of central eastern Canada. You know, a very very good company.
Mike Goldberg's asking a very common question. Dad, do you fly the C-46?
I did when we got them. I have been current on them for the last few years. No, I don't fly the 46.
So the one story, can you tell really quickly about the learning to fly the DC-4 in Haiti?
In Haiti?
Yeah, wasn't it Haiti?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. My father flying DC-4s in Haiti, that would just be, what do you think, Stella? Would that be a...
That's another another couple
Half an
days.
hour.
Here, you know. Yeah.
Well, really quickly, that wasn't with Lippard, was it?
Yeah, I was working for Ron Lippard down there at Haitian Air Cargo.
So Ron Lippard, legendary aviator, Canadian. What's his claim to fame?
10 years, 10 jails in Cuban. 10 years, 10 days in a Cuban jail.
And he
read the book.
10 years and 10 days, Cuban jail. He was running. What was he running? Small arms.
Yeah. Well, like he said, like pineapples, but they're not juice. It was a pineapple that is a trade name for a hand grenade.
Yeah, well, we don't want to get demonetized here.
Yeah, we don't want to get into that. I mean, I can't tell stories out of school here.
So Ron Lippard unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But the funny thing was, he didn't ever count that 10 years he was in jail, eh?
No, he when you asked him his age, he took that off, you know.
And,
it's like me today. If I'm with him or in the States, I'm 54 U.S. today.
And then there's also he got helped released by the Newfoundland Premier,
Joey Smallwood.
So if you're in Newfoundland watching, Joey Smallwood actually saved Ron Lippard. Really good story.
Yeah, I got him out of Cuban jail during that crisis when when all that happened, you know.
Just a quick story about with Lippard in Florida and the reporter.
Oh, the guy wanting the story?
Yeah.
Well, no, we can't go there, Mike. Jesus. You
You
know,
see,
there are things some gentlemen don't ask other gentlemen.
you see, I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to get some stories out of here, but yeah, there's some wild stories. But that's Ice Pilot's, you know, Chucky's APUs wasn't that crazy. Oh, Quads in the Mud. I saw you had a question there in the super chat. Quads in the Mud. You being hardcore right from the very beginning. Thank you for all the support. What is the craziest thing Buffalo Joe has ever seen someone do with an airplane? That's a very good question. So not yourself. What have you seen someone do with an airplane that was crazy? Could be positive. Let's make it positive.
What have I seen somebody do?
With an airplane that made you go wow.
Made Duncan?
You got Yunkin. You got the guy with the International.
Well, I sure like what Matt Duncan does with the Beach 18, the old beach. But in our area, probably I don't know what I've seen a lot of neat stuff done with airplanes, but I've seen a lot of people use the airplanes for rescue and bringing people back, and I think that's probably what I've seen is in my youth. I've seen let's say, for example, the McAvoy brothers rescuing people off thin ice and too far from shore, and under areas that were, conditions that weren't great. That's probably what I've seen, but I'd have to stop and think of that one.
But Matt Yunkin is probably, and then there's that guy with the International, the Jelly Bean one that you really like.
That was a cadet.
That was a cadet?
Yeah, little cadet flying.
So that's the one where they pretend an audience member steals it, and he lands on the roof of vehicles. Very, very cool. Here's one. A favorite airplane at Buffalo and your personal favorite. Stella, favorite airplane at Buffalo?
WZS.
What's your favorite airplane overall?
WZS.
So Stella said WZ. If you can't hear it, WZS.
WZS.
Dad, favorite plane at Buffalo?
Big long list. Go on forever. Got them all.
What's the favorite airplane that isn't at Buffalo, or you? What's your most favorite airplane that isn't at Buffalo and you haven't owned?
AN 2 probably would be nice, but we've always talked about a Super Connie, didn't we?
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that was for Rod. If I had a Super Connie with 3 tails, that'd be for Rod. That's his favorite airplane.
What's the longest charter Buffalo's ever done? I think it's when we took the DC-4 to Nord, Greenland.
Yeah. And
did that helicopter rescue.
Yeah, we did that, and up to Alert's pretty good, and we've done charters. We're down Trenton going to Alert. Those are pretty good long charters.
Oh, we got a super chat. Let's go quick here. Square in the Air saying, for Crazy Pilots, check out Mark Jeffries' displays on Facebook.
Come here.
Check that out. I did see some questions coming in.
Here's Taylor, look.
Yeah, Spaghetti Down, of course, DTD. DTD, of course, is his favorite. I don't know, but WZS has just been there my entire life. DTD will be pretty quick. Arnie Dambusters, very, very, very fun time. That was amazing. There we go. Or charter to Turkey. I guess, yeah, the Turkey charter was a long ways. And then the one to Korea where you put it on the boat. Yeah, we've done some weird stuff. Just recently, too. There you go. So any questions from Stella? She's getting off easy, just standing there in the back.
Just sitting.
Is Joe interested in the DC-2? Very rare. I think there's only... How many DC-2s?
There's one in the Aviodrome in Holland. And I think even it's airworthy.
Well, there's one beside us in Oshkosh at 210, parked beside us. I didn't get to look at it.
They're pretty cute with their nose light.
Yeah, they are, yeah. Yeah. I almost have to put a brassiere on it.
Okay. So, any stories from Newfoundland? Well, really, no. There's not some good stories. I guess those guys waiting for getting over to the Azores and stuff. They spent 2 weeks in Newfoundland waiting for weather.
Oh yeah, but Newfoundland's a good place to wait at because they're very musical, dance, and happy people there. So
the one thing I remember you talking that you liked about Newfoundland is the shipyards.
Oh yeah, if you like walking around looking at boats, I mean, here's a place to be. I mean, St. John's Harbor, you can't hardly walk it in one evening. You gotta walk fast. You want to see it all. So I walked slow, but I took a couple days at it.
And then here we go, super chat. Hey, Mikey, Joe, and Stella, much love from Devlin at Vape Life in Saskatoon. Hey, Devlin, Vape Life. I haven't heard. Well, you probably changed your name, so I haven't seen you. Say, hey, Vape Life, $20. Thank you again. Vape Life has been one of the mainstays on super chats for a long time. So thank you. Oh, we got another one. Blimp Commander, another one. Are there no crazy pilots, only crazy pilot stories? Yeah. So sorry, there is no crazy pilots, only crazy pilot stories. Here's a question. Blimps. Now, they've been trying to make blimps, cargo blimps, for a long, long time. Would you be interested in flying in a blimp at some point?
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. They've got them to the stage now where they're almost on the market to move large equipment over land where you can't build roads. Like, let's say there's a diamond mine starting up or gold mine a couple hundred miles. And they need heavy equipment. Well, yeah, the blip is the answer, and it will happen in our time.
Stella, did you see they're going to be repainting that the Lockheed TriStar because of you inspired them?
Which one?
I showed you that email, didn't you?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I'm gonna have to show you that email, Dave. So Dave
I
was.
gotta go there and help.
No, I
Jesus Christ.
definitely don't you remember that email with they have that Lockheed TriStar museum and they're gonna repaint it?
Wasn't that last
There-
live stream or whatever?
Yeah. So
So they're repainting it.
yeah, and because they of inspired you from all your hard work with painting, but you gotta give a shout out to who helped you paint.
Norma and Robert.
Norman and Robert. You made him hand paint the lines.
Well, Robert did the fine lines and Norma did the invasion stripes.
Yeah, that
Those
was
poor guys,
amazing.
they did such a good job.
They did so good.
So they're gonna make the TriStar red and white with invasion stripes and
Mm-hmm.
the green rudder.
You just have to love Stella's sinister laugh.
Jesus.
Well, we all know where that's coming from. Is Stella painting the Fokker and Foxmoth?
Am
What-
I? I don't know.
Well, the Foxmoth will have to be painted because it's got the
It's gonna
wood,
go red.
but the Foxmoth will have colored
Fabric.
fabric. So Foxmoth won't be painted. Maybe a little bit.
Maybe I'll paint the registration. No.
Texas Flyer saying, "Hey Stella."
Hello.
Oh, Devlin's saying yes, he did change his name. So yeah, Devlin, thank you for changing your name, Vape Nation. Actually, I like Vape Nation too, but it's sometimes better to go by your real name. Do you, Chopper Kyle asking, do you guys still have Travel Airs? If you're not familiar, Travel Air is a very small version like of a Baron. You know what a Beach Baron is? Travel Air is a little bit smaller. Do we still have one?
No,
All
all
gone?
three were sold to Dave Frum and Red. You're there. He has them now.
All gone. The biggest plane Joe's ever had? DC-6? Biggest plane?
Yeah.
Yeah, DC-6. Jed's Bob Bogash is a volunteer at the museum flight in Seattle. We saved 727 number 1. That's right. And most of the planes at MOF. He told me recently that he used to fly with Joe back in the day. Bob flew Connie's. Bob
Okay.
Bogash. I know that name.
Well, you're thinking of Joe Bogash
Oh.
from Grimshaw Trucking, the hot rod boy.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about. Hot rods. Speaking of hot rods, you want to talk about your auction sale coming up? Because a lot of these people there's 742 people. You want a chance to buy one of Buffalo Joe's vintage vehicles? Here's your chance.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about it?
Well, we're looking at a sale in late May in Red Deer, like an auction sale. So it'll be like a gearhead sale. You know, we'll have boats, bikes, hot rods, custom cars, vintage cars, classic cars, throw in a couple airplanes, and but we'll get into that more as we get closer to May. You know, right now it's just in this talking stage. You know, we all want to be an auctioneer, so we get to be an auctioneer for one day, try it out.
So, yeah, so we're going to bring DTD out, and it'll be really the only...
That's what I said. There's going to be an airplane for sale in the auction.
Oh, yeah, no. No, they'd kill me. They'd kill me. So that's really the only thing we have planned in stone for DTD this year is to bring it out for auction. We'll fire it up.
Oh yeah,
No,
we'll
we're not
fly it
bringing
around.
it out
Yeah,
for
yeah.
auction.
We're
bringing
gonna fly it
out for people
around.
to see.
Eh?
Yeah, we can fly it around, I guess.
Well, if they don't bid enough, we'll hang them out the window and shake them by the ankles. Get them bidding a little higher.
Yeah, Jed saying, Bob says there is a DC-4 in the Buffalo fleet he used to fly that he wants to bring to the museum. Yeah, Jed, find out which one it is.
Which one?
Be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it. What museum's he talking? Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle, the Museum of Flight in Seattle.
Yeah, we're interested in getting a. Interested in getting a DC-4 into a museum.
Glenn Smith saying, hey, Mikey and Stella and Joe, my father and I flew DC-3 G Ampy in Coventry for my father's 60th. A few years ago, my father passed away in March last year. Would have loved the DTD story, Glenn, in the UK. So yeah, Glenn, sorry to hear that, but that's the one thing I get lots about is the DTD story, bringing the idea back of these retro airplanes and the memories from viewers of their parents or uncles or aunts or people that were involved with DC-3s, and to bring all those memories back into the forefront is an unintended positive thing that happened. Stella?
I think MPY is in Germany now, in Berlin. I'm not sure, but I think it is.
What was that one that they put in the water? Remember that one that was like in a restaurant, and they put they had the tail sticking out of like the water. Remember you were showing me that? Wasn't that
Isn't that in the US where they have that thing? Where
I think it was in the UK.
I think that's close to that plane where the Santa Claus is sitting on that blue DC-3. I think, I'm not sure.
RC tested. Dad, any advice for an aspiring pilot?
Get at her, get her done. Life goes by pretty quick. You don't want to miss a day, so get at her. Want to fly, fly.
Yeah, what do you see? Because you've seen probably more pilots at the beginning of their career than probably almost anybody around right now. What is the difference between a pilot that's going to make it an enjoyable career and like it versus a pilot that's just doing it for a career?
Oh, the great difference between a pilot and a flyer. That's always been a great difference. Now, the big difference is the interest and the want. That fine line between I want to fly or I should fly. So I'd be very, 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 very cautious of people who don't fly for the right reason. You know.
So, what do you see? Like, what do you see in a pilot right away that you can tell that this person is going to be a flyer, not just a career pilot?
The same thing you see when a guy jumps the boards and hits the ice with a stick in his hand. Is he can either play hockey or he can't. You know, like some people can fly and can take the training and advance along with it, and some will never go to the rodeo.
So are you going to Sacramento for the firefighting conference?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Okay. So Jed's out. He's put a super chat in. When you guys travel to Sacramento, if you have a layover in Seattle for about 3 hours, I'll take you, Stella, to the Museum of Flight to meet Bob Bogash. I don't know if we're going through Seattle because I think we can get a straight shot. No.
Usually we go through Denver, eh?
Yeah. So we'll see. There's always you never know. You never know.
Yeah. Sometimes we've been routed through Vancouver. Sometimes Seattle.
The number one live stream question we get every single live stream. In fact, I've probably seen it 3 or 4 times. This one, hey Mikey, what happened to the DC-6 with the swing tail cargo door that Buffalo bought? So I love the icon, by the way, with That's All Brother. The Swingtail 6 is still in Hay River and hasn't moved.
No.
Still got an N number registration, which means it's registered in the States. So looking for a buyer?
Oh no. You know, when we get time, we're going to haul wind tunnels around. You know, wind generators. But that airplane is just waiting for us to get some more time in life. You know, maybe we stop the clock and get her flying and get her in the air. That it'd be hard to sell it. It's the only swingtail in the world right now, a flyable swingtail. So if it was to fly, it should go back to England, where it was designed. It was designed to haul cars across the English Channel. And now, of course, they don't need it, but that's where it should go into a museum there. But we got plans for it.
Gerard, I got your GoPros. You sent me some GoPros. This is I had to clean it up. It was really sticky. But this is a GoPro Hero 1. And then I made this little unit here that can be sticked up on here on the thing that can test. So I got some vintage GoPros. Thank you. We're going to be doing some tests because when we use GoPros in ice pots, I absolutely hated them. I don't know why. Who would have thought this many years later I'd love GoPros, and I live on the Hero 8. I love it so much. But I want to go back because back in the day, GoPros only had that very fisheye look. You know, that kind of, you know what I'm talking about. But now GoPros, you can change it. So, yeah, I'm going to go back and try out and see the difference. I don't know if you guys would be interested. Maybe I'll put it at the end of an episode. But the very, 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 very first GoPro versus the brand new GoPro. If I stick them side by side and film something, it'd be very interesting to see how much it's came forward. So, yeah, that is going good. So, Dad, anything else?
No, it's, just wish everybody well. I noticed yesterday, young guy in a de Havilland Beaver on skis landed in front of the house, and then I realized it was spring, and I was very jealous that not jealous, but I was very happy to see a young guy enjoying the beaver on skis because it brought back memories of really good days when we did that.
The radial beaver?
Yeah. The red one downtown there was flying around on skis, which was really good to see.
In all caps, is Buffalo Joe thinking of retirement anytime soon?
Buffalo Joe better get a job before he retires because very little superannuation or pension plan around here. So if somebody wants to give me a job, yeah, I'll work for a while and retire.
Get a couple ones here. How's Uncle Ronnie's mission going?
Good. I talked to him yesterday. Trent's going down. Well, Trent going down today, and Trent arrives there today, and they don't have to put it in the hangar because they're in the big sky in Florida, and they plan on being westbound with it, probably around the 14th. But hey, that's Valentine's Day. Yeah, they'll send me a big heart and fly north. That's what they're going to be doing. Yeah, so he figured 14 days there, they'll be out of there. So anybody wants a DC-4, she's all equipped for pollution spraying.
When will the Norseman be back in the air?
June 11th. The water opens June 10th usually here. And so June 11th you'll hear her fly again.
Make sure you tell everybody hit the like button. Thank you guys. 749 people watching right now. That might be the highest we've ever gotten a live stream. So thank you. And that's why I almost didn't do the live stream today because if you guys are just joining us, boom, I put this thing on. If you can see, should we live stream today at 2100 Zulu or postpone it due to the Super Bowl? Live stream got voted 24%, Super Bowl 28%, and then people that didn't know the Super Bowl, which is kind of cheeky, 48%. So this being the highest live stream at currently at 751 people, proves that I thought the Super Bowl would just have my Uncle Toby. Uncle Toby watches this, eh?
Yeah, but you got to realize that you got the Super Bowl this week, but next week you'll be flying around with the Stanley Cup. So.
You're not supposed to tell anybody that.
Oh, well, I mean the Grey Cup. God,
there you go.
Yeah, Eben Eskimo's Grey Cup. Yeah, that old Grey Cup we used to have.
So Ronnie isn't taking her south. So that's a good question. I don't even know. Where are we taking the DC-4?
Go back to Red Deer.
Okay. Who's flying
it? Frank Moss.
There we go. Frank and Glenn?
Yeah. Frank
and Glenn Moss. Funny thing, people were showing me pictures of a place in Florida. They found some DC-3s on Google Earth.
Yeah.
They're like, Mike, you can check this place out. And then I was like, isn't that Frank Moss's place? And yeah, sure enough. So yeah, Frank, how long do you and Frank go back?
Well, we go back quite a ways. Frank Moore has spent a lot of time with Ronnie. They brought all those DC-4s out of Chico when Air Union sold them all to us. And so Frank has done a lot of PlaneSaver work with Ronnie because they saved all his DC-4s. So that'd be quite a few years he's worked with Ronnie.
Would you say in your aviation world, has anybody saved as much airplanes personally as Ronnie has?
Absolutely not. No. Ronnie is a quiet, off the radar, undercover plane saver. He's brought a lot of airplanes out of the wilderness or the bush, or put them back together, or found a new life for them, and he's. I've read a lot of books on airplanes, and I've read a lot of magazines. I heard a lot of stories, but I certainly couldn't say anybody has done anywhere near the amount of airplanes Ronnie's done.
Ronnie's probably watching on his iPad. He figured out how to watch PlaneSavers, so you just gave Ronnie a compliment.
Oh, hi Bones, how you doing there, old Bones? Hey, it's Sunday. Get the benediction, eh? Don't be.
It's very hard to get a compliment on my father. So Ronnie, well, I'll record that for you and send it to you, so you can replay it anytime you want. Joe, when will it be in Penhold next? Penhold is the town closest to the airport in Red Deer.
Well, I could probably be there sometime before the end of the month. We got some business to do there, so yeah, I'll be this time of year. I start going back toward Penhold quite a bit. When it comes to that, I did see a few people wanting to come look at some stuff in Red Deer. So maybe when you're down there, we can tell everybody a day that they can come check out airplanes. Sure. What did they want to look at?
You got how many airplanes down there? You got the DTD. You got everything. Maybe even tell everybody how JKM's doing, which is another big one. So yeah. So yeah, at some point we're gonna show Ronnie's progress on JKM. So.
Oh yes, yeah.
So
Yeah, Ronnie would be well into it. He'd probably have it flying for me by now, but we had to pull him off to move the DC-4 to Florida.
very much enjoy Buffalo Joe, last of the real man.
Yeah, right.
We got a super chat coming again in from Jed. It hasn't popped up yet on mine. Here we go. IQM is the plane that Bob Bogash flew for 4 years in Canada. It was his mission to get the plane to MOF. Was the last major project. IQM is probably one of our most complete DC-4s.
Yeah, IQM had a lot of history. It was involved in the when Budapest fell and the Hungarian Revolution was on. It had the long range tanks in it, so it did a lot of work bringing Hungarians over to Canada from the revolution there in Budapest. And it was also quite involved in transporting monkeys out of Africa to Toronto. So Dr. Salk, who came up with Salk polio vaccine, could pull some marrow out of the legs, and because half the cities in Canada were quarantined then with his polio, and he just happened to design the vaccine that could combat it, and IQM was quite involved in going back and forth. Bringing these, they had to pull from what I was told. I don't know, maybe people bullshit a little bit, but I was told that they had to extract the marrow from their legs, just a part of it, so it didn't hurt them, so they could use that marrow as part of the vaccine to save these people. Like Winnipeg itself was 50% quarantined. I think Edmonton was 65% quarantined, and so it was remarkable that airplane was involved in the in all those different things. Because people, how I find out about this, people come to research the airplane, looking for the airplane that did certain things. So IQM has quite a history. And then we had IQM for a long time. Well, we still have it. Eh?
So I found, if you guys follow my Instagram, actually a long time ago, I found the picture of when we flew IQM for the last time from Yellowknife to Hay River, and parked it because the Electra took over. Can you guess the date that we flew IQM from Yellowknife to Yellowknife to Hay River for the last time?
Can I guess the date?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Time means nothing to me, so I don't have any calendar. I don't even have a watch.
So there's me. There's me giving a thumbs up. Instagram. That was November 26, 2013. There we go. So, shout out to my buddy Kyle, who liked that. Here, there we go. The moments in your life that you can't sit back and be happy. Well, I don't even know what I'm saying. Probably something stupid. But yeah, there we go. So it's been 2013, which is how many years ago? 7 years ago.
Well, 6.5. It's not November yet.
Mm-hmm. What is going on here? 770 people watching.
Yeah.
That's a record.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've had people bring their grandchildren up to Yellowknife here to look at IQM, to tell them this was the airplane that brought them across the ocean to Canada.
Okay. So the polio vaccine, where are they getting the monkeys from?
They got them from Africa. And of course, IQM had the long legs, had enough fuel to do the intercontinental trips. Eh?
Oh, Janbo's asking Joe, at full throttle, how fast will a DC-3 fly? I guess you would never really want to go full throttle, but...
Well, we cruise about 165 miles an hour, 140 knots, so that's roughly an average all day long for DC-3. It's...
what's the fastest with winds that you ever grounded on DC-3?
Well, we've seen them over 200. We've also seen them with the same winds going the other way. We've also seen them down 80, 85. Eh?
So on the trip from Hay River to Yellowknife, which is normally around about 45 minutes, yeah. What's the fastest and what's the slowest you've ever seen it?
I've gone anywhere. Sometimes I've made it 36 minutes. Sometimes it's taken me an hour. Same trip. Depends which way the wind blows, whether it's with you or against you. It's kind of nice when it's against you because you got a longer time in the sky before you land and have to face all the problems and music of the Earthlings.
This is just, I'm just laughing at some funny comments, folks. Yeah, so there you guys go. We're 2 subscribers away from hitting 49,800. So if you're watching this, I know I normally lose a lot of subscribers on live streams because people don't necessarily like live streams, but you guys are loving it. 764 people. So if you happen to like this stuff, hit the subscribe. We only need 2 more to break the 49,800 barrier, almost at 50,000, which is amazing. That's a huge community, and I'm just super happy everyone's loving it. Oh, we got a super chat coming in from Jardigan. I'd like to help in Winnipeg. Oh yeah, so the Winnipeg SEAL 215. I did see a few comments come through. Any news on the Winnipeg SEAL 215?
Yeah, it'll be sitting there because it's like it's 30-40 below through this country now, and of course, Winnipeg is very friendly at the airport there, and they're holding the airplane for us until late March, early April when the weather changes, we can fly it out of there. It is a summer type built airplane,
Yeah, the oil coolers are out on the wings. Very finicky when it comes to icing.
Yeah.
The team. So Jay, Dusty.
Jay and Dusty.
I think Spaghetti Don's going to be there.
Yeah, and Bert Weaver said he'd fly it out with me.
Oh, Bert Weaver.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hello from New Zealand. So what? It must be later in New Zealand right now. There we go. We just broke 49,800 people. Look at that. So thank you for the.
How many people?
We have 49,800 people subscribed, and watching right now is 752. So
well,
I think we got.
49 is higher than our whole population in Northwest Territory, which is a third of Canada.
There we go.
Half the size of Russia.
That's a good point. So there's more people subscribed to our YouTube channel than there is the population of Northwest Territories, twice the size of Texas.
Yep.
So there you go, Texas Flyer. We're twice the size of you, and we only have enough people to fit in an average college football game. So that's kind of crazy, eh?
You only have 40,000, yeah.
So you can get like 40,000 people in a college football.
Oh yeah. When we stayed, oh yeah.
So the one thing I'm always fascinated by American football, I'll get a little bit of a tangent here, because we got such small population here that like high school football stadiums can hold like 20,000 people, which is bigger than our NHL arenas. Amazing. So, yeah. So I doubt there's that. 11 a.m. in New Zealand right now. I doubt that there's as many football fans watching right now, because we are doing this definitely during the Grey Cup, the Stanley Cup, the Super Bowl. Why am I messing that up? So I guess we're gonna have to cheer for Kansas City on the Super Bowl, because they have.
That's where they build your super courier down there. It says in Kansas.
Yeah. So hopefully Cessna has invited me to go and see the Sky Courier.
Yeah. So that's why you want them to win.
Yeah. So hopefully gonna go check it out. I found this old picture here. I really like this picture. Is this one of your favorite captains? Favorite Buffalo captain? Right here. Look at that guy. You remember that guy? Ronald McDonald.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's some retro pictures. Look at that. Look at Ronald McDonald hanging out.
Yeah.
That's probably LFR right there. But, yeah. So even Ronald McDonald, that was a funny story. And Ronald McDonald came in Yellowknife, and he was such a big fan of ice pilots, which blew me away. Ronald McDonald, fan of ice pilots. So, yeah, there we go. Oh, we got a huge hello all the way across the lake. Hello, Jim Bean guy from Hay River, my hometown. There we go. So really, it's only Uncle Ronnie and I that were born in Hay River, right? Everyone else, you're Con Mine. Rod and Kathy are Albertans.
Yeah, High Prairie, yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny is in Hay River.
Oh yeah, Kenny is. Yeah. 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 I guess.
And Robin.
And Hannah and Robin. Yeah. So, what is that Chinook doing there? I don't know. Is there a Chinook here?
Chinook's a helicopter.
Yes, double propellant.
Oh, Texas Flyer is cheering for Kansas City. I really missed the Super Bowl, and I said earlier this morning that I because nowadays a lot of people don't have whatchamacallit, their cable.
Yeah.
Like, you have cable,
Oh yeah.
but not very many people have cable. Like Stella,
I have rabbit ears too. So
I haven't had cable for a long time. So even if I wanted to watch the Super Bowl, I couldn't. But the commercials are always the best.
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, a little off topic. Greetings from Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. One of the best museum. I'm going to say that there's a lot of museum people here. Dayton, Ohio, best museum in the world. Very cool. We got to take Stella there. They got a P-36. Remember what a P-36 is? A P-40 with an 1830 on it.
Oh yeah.
So they got a P-40 with an 1830 on it called P-36, Curtiss P-36. Very cool. That was like one of my favorite airplanes when I was a kid because I loved the P-40, and of course the DC-3 was such an important airplane for all of us that I actually have a mix. It was the only model I ever built.
Hey,
Was a
you
P-50.
remember I bought you a huge model of a P-40 and still haven't put it together.
Yeah, both.
I mean, it'll be an antique.
And if you at the Buffalo Airwire store here, you got me that P-40 canopy.
Yeah, and Matthew painted all the 6 squadrons on it.
So here's a cool story, a little segue, because everything always connects. Why would Buffalo Joe end up with P-40 parts? Can you guys figure it out? I'll give you a few seconds. Why would Buffalo Joe end up with P-40 parts? Okay, Dad, tell the story.
It's Sunday. I can't.
You gotta tell some story.
How do you sin on Sunday?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know
Okay.
what you're talking about. How did I end up with it?
How does Buffalo Joe end up with P-40 parts that you weren't looking for?
How did Buffalo Joe end up sitting on a chair beside you looking at the screen?
I know.
I can't tell you, Mike.
Yes, you can tell me.
Huh?
I think, well, I know the answer.
I got it because of you.
No. Why would you have P-40 parts? There is a mechanical reason why you have P-40 parts.
You heard American Pickers? I don't know, Mike. I can't really answer that, why I have it. I just have it.
Because of the tail wheel on the Norseman.
Oh, that part, yeah. Oh, Mike, yeah. The P-40 tail wheel on the Norseman. Yeah.
That's where you got them from, isn't it?
Well, I bought the whole package.
Yeah, so why do I know the stories?
Oh, because I told you, oh, yeah, the P-40 on the Norseman tail wheel. Yeah.
So the Norseman didn't have a cast string tail wheel from factory, correct?
Yeah.
So there was a mod in Alaska that they would buy P-40 tail wheels and put P-40 tail wheels on Norsemans. Now, do you have P-40 tail wheels in Red Deer?
Yeah, I have them on my original Norseman.
So when you bought a bunch of Norseman parts, they had P-40 parts mixed in there because they were buying P-40 tail wheels. Is that all accurate?
You got it, Mike.
Is that where the P-40 parts came from?
That's where she came from.
Am I right, or are you just saying that because we're on a live stream?
No, yeah, that's why we got the windows too. You know, the small windows, the cranks.
So there we go.
But we do have the canopy, and Matthew did paint it for you. You should show it next week on the live stream.
Yeah, well, it's in the store. Yeah.
Because it's got the 6 squadrons, one being the Hells Angels. Eh?
I'm not sure we can get it down. It's pretty.
No, we're not going to take it down.
Yeah, it's
so-
pretty much in the.
You can take a picture of what
Yeah.
Matt did for that, which is the history and the background of the motorcycle gang that and the Hells Angels. Eh?
There we go. So now we can do a segue into the Hells Angels too, if we really wanted to.
And
But-
we get Stella running around the hangar here on my old Indian.
Yeah, which is a motorcycle for the.
Yeah, it's an old Indian. Is really a motorcycle, guys.
There we go.
Get after.
Okay, good question here. We're tired. We're an hour. 762 people watching. Thank you so much. A really good question here. What different helicopters did Joe use to own? What were they used for? Hope to share some photos, but we won't have any photos on this one. Maybe you can add this in. So, what helicopters did you used to own?
Well, we started with the Bell 47, and we got the Alouette 2, Aerospace Alouette 2, and then 1974 we bought our first Gazelle. That was for Natty National Park survey. So we went 47, Alouette 2, Gazelle, and of course for contractual purposes, the customers demanded, and we bought her. We operated the Hughes 500, the Jet Ranger, and then of course I fell in love with that Eldorado S55. It had a 1340 Norseman engine in it. So we had the Sikorsky 55 and the 58, and that was the helicopter world of that time. It was, in fact, we just got an email the other day from Solomon House. He used to fly right alongside us in Fort Smith with helicopters. So yeah, the helicopter was a great world, and it was all forestry really, the forestry game type work as we're doing. Like Wood Buffalo Park's the biggest park on this planet, and of course that's we did a lot of work in Wood Buffalo Park. We're training to fires and game and fire management, and game management, and patrol and taking care of all the animals.
Was there much charter work outside of forestry?
There was a lot of charter work, but we pretty well had our niche in the forestry fire market and the game market. We did a lot of game work, and which is very interesting because we had to learn a lot about what the animal world was really like out there at that time. Once you collar a wolf and watch what he does and follow him, then you'll see the real life, not little Red Robin Hood wolf, but the real wolf.
What year is your Indian bike?
2000.
We're talking about the bike.
2000.
So that's 20 years old now. Your new bike's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And you scraped the fender on it and tried to blame me. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, the fenders got scraped putting it in your office.
You didn't do that?
No, I did not do that. We got hello from Buffalo Virtual. Hello, Buffalo Virtual, guys. Check out Buffalo Airways Virtual. They are doing flying DC-4s to Australia right now on Buffalo Virtual. So go buffalovirtual.com, download the DC-4, fly to Australia with the boys. It'd be good fun. Super chat from Bob. Thank you, Bob. $10 from Bob. Thank you. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. Oh, Avian, you got the picture right there. Keep the picture right here. And the picture, there we go. And there's Avian from Ireland. So there we go. I'd like to meet you guys in person. We got our PlaneSavers shirts this week in the post. Thank you guys. You guys come up anytime. What's that in your thumbnail? That's Australian? That's an Australian something or other. Twin engine. Very cool. Yeah. So come up anytime. Oh, one more super chat. Joe, what is your approximate asking price for IQM? I'm going to see if we can put together a group of museum to purchase the plane and put it in KC Airline Museum thing. So, Jed, send my father an email, and we'd be interested in selling IQM. The Dam Buster.
What do you got for trade?
Yeah, he'll trade. Oh, Glenn, oh my smokes, Glenn. Glenn, hello, Glenn. Hi, Mikey, Joe, and Stella, and the Buffalo crew. Hope you're doing well. Hope to come see you all in the summer. Any chance of trying out the ramp for a day? Of course, Glenn. Glenn's the one who bought this chair for me. Thank you, Glenn. One of the oldest Ice Pilots fans. I got your book that your father and yourself gave me in my thing. So thank you, Glenn. Good to see you in the live stream. I haven't seen you for a while in the live stream. You might have been there, but there's a lot of stuff. So thank you, Glenn. Good night from the West of Ireland, Chris. Ireland. We should go to Ireland one day, eh, Dad? See where everybody came, all our family came from.
Especially seeing your mother's maiden name was Ireland.
Yeah.
And by the way, Sharon, thanks for the cup. It's still hot coffee.
Oh, there we go. So my mom's watching Uncle Toby Ireland. He was watching. He's a guard down there in High Prairie, and sometimes he watches with the RCMP members down there. So hello, Uncle Toby.
Hi, Tobe.
There we go. Terry.
How's the smoke? Well,
how's the smoke? Terry, good night all. So you guys, that's it. Stella, 751 people watching here at the end.
Patches, wag your tail here.
Thank you guys. Oh, there we go. Bye guys. Hope you liked this live stream. Check it out if you haven't subscribed all that fun stuff. Love you all. See you soon, very soon. My dad leaked out what we're doing next week. Check out. We're gonna have lots of fun this week. Bye.